Howdy peeps, and welcome back to the channel for part 2 of the Tamiya Skyline GTR build. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this build, whether I show everything as I go or whether I just show steps as it were. So I think probably the other builds I've done have shown all the basics, etc. There's nothing really new. All depends how I feel, how I go. I might do some of it off camera. Yeah, we'll see. But sometimes, yeah, it's doing video builds. Sometimes you don't necessarily want to. Well, you don't necessarily want to be filming it all the time. It can get to be a bit of a drag, but we'll see how we go. So last time, as I said, I would finish tidying up the body and putting the rear wing together, which I've done. I set the rear wing onto the body to let the glue dry to make sure the supports are in the right positions, so that when it comes to gluing on after painting, it's nice and easy. It's gathered a bit of dust over a few days, or however long it's been, and I'll pop the front end finny strake bits on. So we'll pop that to one side because we don't need that right now, and grab the destructions. And we're going to go with step 1 because I still haven't got around to getting the paint for this, so it's going to be meh. We'll see how we go. As you can see, we've got several parts all going together, most of which are painted different colours. So they're going to need painting before assembly, just to make the paint easier. So we shall start out with digging the bits off the sprues and then mounting them up onto cocktail sticks ready for painting, I think. So I'll pop that to one side. Annoyingly just in and just out of shot. Actually, I'll move it right out of shot, as otherwise it has a tendency to wipe things out. I need sprues A and B. Which one's that? C, typical. This must be one of them. Sprue B. We'll start with the radiators. 24, 28 and 29. 24. So, yeah. So, are there any car builders watching? If so, I do apologise. You're going to probably see things done the wrong way, or backwards, or yeah. But hey. These videos are always how I do things. It's not necessarily showing the right way or the best way. Because what works well for one person it might not work for another. Oh, smacking the camera around. It's because I've got my cap on. First cooler day for quite a while, so it's you might be able to hear the wind in the background. We've gone from having high 20s every day, 27, 28 degrees English, and very light breezes, to I think it is about 18 today, and there's fairly strong wind. So it's come as a bit of a it's cold. So hence long sleeves. I've got the cap on. Because it's just a British thing, which so we don't tend to have aircon in our houses over here, because we normally only get 1 or 2 weeks a year that we might actually need it. But weirdly this year, I don't know about other parts of the country obviously, But I know here we haven't had rain at all for getting over 2 months now. So everything's bone dry. There's the odd wildfire sprouting up. I'm surprised the hosepipe ban hasn't come in yet. Well, perhaps it has and I just haven't heard. In that case, I didn't top up the pond last night. Right, so which way around is this? That way. And that tells me that one goes that side. Right, glue. Oh. Yes, it's definitely non-traditional weather at the moment in the UK. As some of you will know, I do work in a supermarket. I won't name them here, obviously. But the general stocks of things like bottled water, tonic water, all that kind of stuff, we're just running out of it every day. It's a bit crazy, really. I'm guessing it's nationwide demand, not just this little part of the country. What am I sticking to on the bench? Right. So that's that bit done. And it's sprue A, which is all the grey plastic, I believe. Ooh, it's still in its bag, so we'll just check the bag, check there's nothing falling off. Nothing obvious anyway. Yes, where was I? Yeah, just very un-British weather. It's there have been people coming back from foreign holidays and finding out it's been warmer here than it has been where they were. They've gone somewhere for the sun for 2 weeks, come back and thought everyone here is more tanned than they are, kind of thing. I would say it's not happened in my lifetime, but it has. The year I was born, so obviously I don't remember it, but the long hot summer of '76. And yes, that'll let you guess my age, if you don't already know. Not as old as I look. Not as old as I feel most days either. 20, 21 and B12. It's although on the upside there have been some very amusing sunburn cases coming in through the doors at work, so always good for a chuckle. I'll just take that seam line off and try and do it in shot. But yeah, it's kind of interesting being in Britain at the moment. So it's literally over the last 2 days I think the temperature's dropped by 10 degrees, so it's quite crazy really. Anyway, off of the temperature, what else have I been doing, working on? What is there to come on the channel? Not a huge amount. I mean, I've been spending most of my time working on the Games Workshop Night, which I actually finished today, the day I'm filming this. And it's, again, yes, it is very expensive for what you get in the box. Is what you get in the box worth what you spend on the kit? No. Do I think the finished result, built and painted, is worth it? And allowing for the time it takes to do it and all that, because it's a very detailed model, let's say. So I definitely think I've had my money's worth from it. It's not owing me anything. There goes the phone again. Someone trying to sell me PPI, or actually it's probably life insurance, or consolidating all my debts. You can tell because they don't leave a message on the answer phone. That's usually why I don't bother picking up the phone when I'm at home, because quite honestly I can't be bothered dealing with it all. Right, let's let's clean this up as well. Forgot to do that. That one's okay. So yes, it's interesting times all round. I'm trying to steer clear of the current politic that's going on. I mean, suffice to say, if they put me in charge for a couple of years, I'd sort the problems out. But then I wouldn't be worried about keeping power and getting voted back in and all that. I'll just sort stuff out. Now I'm not actually putting this together, I'm just going to dry fit so I know what attaches where, and then I can figure out check the colours. This is what's X18, that's semi-gloss black. Yep. And XF28 is dark copper. Strange. And XF16 flat aluminium, that's more like it. Right, so this is going to need to be painted in separate parts, and that is going to need to be masked up because there's different colours on it. Joy. So that and that are easy enough to mount up. Just grab the universal parts mounting device, blue tack, jab a chunk in there, grab a cocktail stick, ready to stick in a piece of Oasis or whichever your preferred part holder is. And then be primed. I'll do the same with this, and another cocktail stick. Now there is the argument here that, well, why don't you just paint them on the sprue? Surely that's easier. Well, kind of, but you still have to touch up all the paint where you cut it off and then sand off the sprue gates, so you don't really save yourself anything in the long term. Now, going to have to be a bit careful with this bit. Some cases like this, I'll just super glue the cocktail stick onto a certain or a suitable area. I think that might have to be the case because it's looking rather narrow to try and attach a cocktail stick to via the usual means. So we'll grab another cocktail stick, just quickly clean it up a little, get some of the paint off. Sand it a semi-flat edge onto it. That'll do. There we go. Random old pot lid. One of the ones out of a bottle of UMP thinner or cleaner. Please someone more super glue hasn't solidified. It's not solidified, but it's very nearly there. Right. Yeah, it's turned to treacle. It's done well. It's probably a year or so old. And yes, I am aware that if you keep it in the fridge or whatever, it will last longer, but it's a bottle of super glue, let's be honest. It's not the end of the world. And to be fair, having got at least 3/4 if not more of the way down it, I reckon I got my money's worth out of that. I'll just pop that in place. Give the activator a quick shake. Set the super glue instantly. And then for the drag link, steering arm I guess, we'll just oh, does that mount on the bottom or the top? If it mounts on the, yeah, it goes over the top, that's okay. So we can grab that, he says, hopefully we've got one around here. Grab it in the middle with a close peg. That'll be the bit that's not visible. So that's all those ready for primer. Won't be needing that as the glue's not liquid. So next step in the instructions is putting the brake discs on and this front suspension, so we'll need to chop those off and paint those as well. So, where are we? Yes, sprue A, 11, 8, 10, 11 and 12. Hold it the right way up so you can see what the part numbers are sharp. 8, 10, 11 and 12, and we also going to need the main section of the exhaust pipe, which is 30 and 36, so we'll grab those as well. So this tends to be what building cars is like. Well, for me anyway. I find snipping a few parts off the sprue, cleaning them up, maybe sticking a couple together, painting them, adding them, and then repeating the process rather than just getting on and building the damn thing. But I suppose there's not really any other way of doing it. You could just stick it all together and then try and paint it afterwards, but that would make the painting rather awkward. You would have to, it'd either be an absolute arse to mask up, or you'd have to brush paint it all, and with the greatest will in the world, you don't get the same results with a brush as you do with an airbrush, especially with metallics, which there is a lot of metallic paint involved in cars. So it's just, well, that is actually moulded as two separate pipes. Thought they were moulded together, that's why it was making a weird noise. And what one thing, I don't know whether it's a tip or not, even if it just calls out for one, say, like it probably does with this, just flat aluminium. Try and pick out different bits with slightly different shades of metallics if you've got them. It just adds more interest. I might have a go at showing how I do heat staining as well. We'll see how we go, see how much of the exhaust is even remotely going to be visible. I did it with the R390 because the rear bodywork is removable and you can see all the engine and turbos and exhausts and all that good stuff. So yeah, I did heat stain all the exhausts up. Nothing spectacular, but just enough to give it the effect. We shall see. Depends how I feel when I get there. I'm not even sure whether the exhaust on this would have got hot enough to get heat stained. I might, oh no, shock. I might have to look at some reference pictures. Hope you all sat down then, because it's really not often that I do that. Normally my version of reference pictures is what does the box art look like. Yeah, I'm that precise. Well, I tend to view it. The manufacturer's got access to either the better or more information than I probably have. So I choose to view it that they've probably got it right and just go with what they say, or go with what I think is close enough. Whereas in the case of a car, you've got to use the right colour, especially a race car anyway. A road car, you can paint whatever the hell colour you like. It's the same as painting a plane or such. You are painting an actual thing. It's how it actually looked. So well, just chuck a few of these on them. Again, just normal clothes pegs, but they're the ones with the rubber grips, so I find them really useful for grabbing hold of parts with. Same with the brake calipers and discs that we did with the hubs. You jam the cocktail stick through the middle. That's obviously a different flavour of cocktail stick because it's thinner. That's got it. And then just, I reckon, glue the exhaust together. Seems to be a fairly good fit, and that's the top, so that joint won't be visible. Always a good thing. So Tamiya do think of things like that usually. Unless they've got no choice, they try and hide the joints up. Which is just generally a good piece of advice. Hide the joints. So, add a little more. We'll let that set. And I'll get that mounted up to a cocktail stick or something. Probably just a cocktail stick glued across the back, to be honest. And I'll get all that primed. And yeah, maybe base painted. We'll see how we go. And I'll see you next time. So enjoy your modelling, have fun. Yeah. It's a hobby, it's meant to be fun, enjoy yourself. If you're not enjoying yourself, yeah, maybe time to look at the hobby again. Anyway, peace out, rock on, bye bye.